Welcome to Mighty Married Moms. Join us at our kitchen table twice a week as the Mighty Married Moms, Debbie, Linda, Wendy, invite spectacular guests to weigh in on staying sexy, vibrant, and healthy, building marriages with soul-satisfying connection, raising happy, healthy, successful kids. Conversations with Mighty Married Moms will bring you closer to the life you really want. Episode 117. Today's show is brought to you by Deborah C. Owen, Family and Life Coach at youcanraisegreatkids.com. If you are tired of worrying about the choices your kid is making, or tired of the stress of constantly arguing with your kids, or them arguing with each other, then don't wait until you are truly desperate. Get the help you and your family need and deserve today. Connect with your kids with calm compassion. Call Deborah Owen at 978-835-4354. Welcome everybody back to Mighty Married Moms. I am Debbie Owen from youcanraisegreatkids.com.
Wendy Williams from connectagain.org.
And Linda Tighe from allwellbreaksloose.com.
And we are really excited to be able to talk to you today about the conversation that we just had this week with Dr. Bradley Nelson. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So much interesting stuff. A little bit outside perhaps some of our listeners and viewers' comfort zones.
Yeah, could
Yes.
be.
Yeah. So
What are we
let's
talking about?
talk about that.
Yeah.
Well, you dive in. Go ahead,
All
Wendy.
right, we were talking about energy medicine.
Yeah.
And as Dr. Bradley Nelson, who is, if you look up the energy, the emotioncode.com, he was talking about energy medicine being the medicine of the future. Because we are, I remember this, and I don't know if we talked about this with Dr. Bradley Nelson, but about 10 years ago we were talking about modern and postmodern times, and that was usually associated in my mind with kind of like a spiritual evolution.
Okay.
But there's also, I think, an evolution of what we did in modern times was we broke things down and looked at pieces and parts. And then in postmodern times it was more systems and taking a larger look at things. And I think that's what's going on with energy medicine is we're coming back and we're saying everything is connected. Like he said, we're all like individual islands that are connected with energy.
Yeah.
And one of the great things that I think that happens for me, for me to really recognize energy between human beings in the world, is you can tell when you walk in a room and the room goes silent or the energy gets sucked out of the room. That happens to me all the time. No, it doesn't. No, not quite. But, or I do it, or I pull my energy back because somebody's come in that makes me bristle, or I'm nervous around them, or anxious around them, and you can really feel like a coldness.
Totally feel. Yes, you walk into
or
a
pulling
room,
away.
Yeah, but
But no physical.
You walk into a room and you're like, whoa, there's something weird going on here.
Yes, or people don't like me, or something's going on,
You
or
can totally
or
tell.
they were just talking about my surprise party and they're trying to be quiet, and you can feel a buzz, right? So
Or you're walking down the road and you feel like somebody's looking at you. You just know it, and you're looking around. Who is looking at me?
Yeah.
And then you find them, and you're like, darn, I knew somebody was
somebody was staring at me.
How do you know?
Right.
How do you know?
Right.
That's kind of the core of what this energy medicine is talking about.
Right, it's tapping into that and connecting into that that stuff that is beyond flesh and bone, that connects us all and makes some sense, and it really, really works. And when people are under stress, you can't see stress, right? Like if you're under work stress, you can't see it and bottle it and say, oh, I better get rid of this stress. It's a constant pressure. And so even that tells me that there's something energetic. If I'm living day to day with the stress of not paying my bills on time and so there's nothing that I can touch that's that, but the feeling of that, if I go to my doctors and they say, gee, you seem run down, I go, well, I've been under a lot of stress. That's nothing that anybody can point to.
Right.
Right? So that's all this energy stuff.
Right.
Yeah. I think, for me too, he's really talking, it's really kind of coming full circle back to before modern times. Modern times was when we had to intellectualize everything. We went up into our brain. We kind of left behind the intuitive piece of medicine or healing and not giving it any credibility. So I think it's really exciting to kind of be cycling back to that taking into consideration all those things. And I think another thing about energy is maybe if it doesn't sound like, oh, well, if people are stressed or something happened and you come into a group of people and they're sad because there's a funeral or whatever, of course you're going to feel a certain energy, but you also intellectually know what that energy is all about. Mm-hmm. But I think also you can tell, I know we've all experienced, if somebody stands too close to you, you can feel they're in your field of energy and it's very uncomfortable, right?
What's interesting though is it's different
cultures.
Different cultures have different acceptable zones.
Well, so it could be
but you
acceptable
can
zones,
feel that though.
You can still
feel when someone stands too close to you and you're talking too close to you. It's a little weird, and you feel this kind of energy field. That's you're in
it's the energy.
Too far into
so
my energy
maybe
field.
in Japan the energy field is smaller, or wherever, or some other country the energy field is smaller. You can get closer to people, but with us it's 3 feet or something for people you don't know well, something like that. 2.5, 3 feet, I think, is some sort of. But you're right, you do feel like you're in my space.
Yes.
What is that space? There's
That's
no space.
Yeah,
but there is a space.
There is a space.
Right, and of course, I think we're all familiar with the terminology too, that we use only like a minuscule part of our brain, right? There's all this stuff that we don't understand.
Which is a misnomer, but go ahead.
Yeah, but it's a small part, because we don't understand.
Conscious mind.
Conscious mind,
yes.
Yeah, there's this whole subconscious mind that we're not really in tune with, or so much, or we're now starting to figure out that there's this whole other big part.
Of
If
life
it was
that's
a pie,
driving
if it was
us.
a pie chart, you'd only be using a slice, right? And there's this whole other pie that is unknown to us right now. And, to the credit of modern medicine, they've been trying to figure out the small piece of pie, and they've been trying to dissect all of that. And that's not a bad thing. We're not saying that's a bad thing. We're saying that there's just so much more, and it's really exciting to see somebody like Brad Nelson bringing that to the forefront and saying there's so much more that we can understand here. And it feels a little woo-woo, right?
Yeah.
As we like to say, a little woo-woo, right? It's like, really? Because it's not tangible, and we're so accustomed to needing proof. Where's the proof? Where's the medical study?
Right.
But our ancestors didn't need the medical, the
Proof.
The proof. They didn't need those trials and medical proof. So it's exciting, and he's had incredible
Amazing results.
success.
Amazing results.
Amazing results.
And by using this body testing, no, that's not what it's called.
Muscle testing.
Muscle testing, which if you're watching us, I'm kind of wagging my fingers here. If you're not watching us, that's what I'm like making pincers, like my thumb and my forefinger. And and that's a very easy way, or you could just kind of touch the muscle. And what Linda's talking about is that 90% of the brain that we're not consciously thinking about has a lot of wisdom, and it has and it's accessible through muscle testing. So what my favorite thing is, if you were to say to me, repeat after me, Wendy, my name is Mickey Mouse. If I said my name is Mickey Mouse, my arm would go flaccid because the muscle or
it's not congruent with
it's not congruent with my truth. But if I said my name is Wendy Williams, my arm would stay solid and stiff. Try this. Just do it on yourself, or do it on somebody next to you. Is just say to them, repeat something that is not true, and the arm will go down. And if you repeat something that is true for them, the arm will stay solid. And it's like, you can't fake it. You can feel it. So that's the kind of system that we're tapping into. And then he's taking it to that place of clearing emotions that are getting in the way of us feeling our best, doing our best, being our best, all sorts of things.
I also find it fascinating. So I think in our lifetimes, we think very linear. You're born, you die, and this is it. This is the only life that you have. But he's tapping into ancestors that you've inherited these emotion codes that we have in our bodies from. So
just like our blue eyes.
So there's still this deep connection to generations past. So it kind of takes you out of that, transcending beyond this limited understanding of this is the only life that we have, that we're connected, way beyond to our ancestors and to our ancestors that will come in the future. Because we are, is that
I think that's the right word.
Yeah.
Progeny. Our progeny.
Progeny, that's the word, yeah. So that's very fascinating to me. I find that really, marvelous. We're just all energy, and there is no beginning and end. And that's a really hard concept to grasp.
And I'll say that even though it's a little bit of a woo-woo concept, I mean, even before I had heard about the emotion code, several years ago, my very solid engineering husband was trying to explain to the kids and to me what quantum mechanics is.
Oh,
and and I can't even begin to go there to explain it, but I think he would even say it's kind of woo-woo. And this is quantum mechanics, which is something that engineers and scientists are studying actively now
Right
as
this
we
minute,
speak.
right, yeah.
And Dr. Brad has taken that concept of quantum mechanics where the molecules are doing things that we can't possibly understand. That's the gist that I walked away from.
Right, yeah.
My very minuscule understanding of that. Molecules are doing things that we can't understand and that don't make sense based on what we think they should be doing. And Dr. Brad has taken that study and that understanding and married it with the ancient wisdom and the ancient practices and created what he's calling the emotion code, and kind of the advanced level is the body
What does he
code.
call it? Surgery for the emotions? Emotional surgery?
I think that was it,
I
yeah.
think, don't quote us on that,
Yeah.
but it basically it is. It's like going in a surgical strike, if you will, a surgical procedure, and clearing something that has been blocked or bunched up, or he described it as like a ball
Yeah.
of energy. He described it like the size of a grapefruit almost. And with a very limited time, and you don't even have to believe it. That's what I found. You don't have to be like on board 100% to get the benefit from this.
That's true, because people who are really good emotion code practitioners are actually able to change people or animals without their buy-in. And of course,
How can you get a buy-in of a horse? Right?
Yeah, you don't get the buy-in of the horse or the dog or your cat or
He has
whatever.
so many stories.
And my sister, as I mentioned in the other episode, who has used emotion code on her adopted dogs and her rescued horses, it is amazing the difference that it makes, like overnight stuff. And of course, he also is very clear in his book and his teachings that you should never do it on a person without their permission. And you should never do it on a child without the permission of the parents. He's very clear about that. But the point is, you can.
And also, you don't
Yeah.
need to be a practitioner. You
Yeah.
can go and read this book, and he's going to tell you exactly what to do.
And
You don't
practice it. You do need to practice it.
Sure.
I've read the book. I'm practicing. I'm not very good at it yet. But
but it's accessible to the whole world,
Yeah.
and he wants everybody in the whole world to have access to it. And I have my own personal story. I went with somebody who's been studying this, and she really helped me clear some stuff that had to do with my work life and my sense of self and accomplishment and my sense of worthiness. I'm 57 years old. You think I would have had this handled by now? But there was some really kind of like
not necessarily.
early
Yeah.
career wounds that made me reticent and shy, and if a person in authority kind of looked at me askance, I go, oh, I'm worthless. And it was just like, it's not 100% true. Maybe their opinion is correct in that moment, maybe I could have done better in that thing, but it doesn't make me and my whole existence up for question. But that's where I would go with it. It was really,
Yeah.
it was
Does that sound familiar?
unnerving.
Does that sound familiar to you,
Yeah.
listener, viewer?
Yeah.
I mean, is that the kind of thing where you feel like if somebody says something to you, it's
I
like
just go right down.
your whole world is coming to an end because they've said something that is not complimentary?
Yeah, it
And-
hits my sensitive underbelly,
Yeah.
you know?
I mean, we all go there once in a while.
Absolutely.
But if this is something that you're dealing with on a regular basis, we would encourage you to at least explore finding somebody who can help you with the emotion code, or even get the book for yourself and try it for yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Amazing stuff.
You know what I would like to do in the last couple of minutes that we have is just talk about the body organs, because that's a huge part of what this whole
Yeah.
process is. And he's able to identify where these balls of energy are located in your body. And one of the things that I think is so interesting is all the studies that have come out recently that talk about how we actually have brain cells in our gut. And they're looking at the gut now as the second brain. I know, Linda, you've done a little bit of research on this. If you can share some more.
Absolutely.
Share on that.
Yeah, and sometimes, possibly even our first brain. I mean, there's everything. Your gut is the center of your health, really. The healthier your gut is, the healthier you're going to be. And the health of your gut is directly related to depression and anxiety and things that we didn't expect. You know, so you sort of think of it on a health, oh, maybe I'll have, indigestion, or you think of things that are related right to that particular part of your body, but it's actually relates to, everything that goes on in your body and in your, for your emotions as well.
Well,
And-
we have a gut feeling.
Yeah,
on
have a gut
something,
feeling,
right?
absolutely.
So we know that the emotions are centered in the gut.
Absolutely.
A lot of people get their information on, I have a gut feeling I'm not going to take that job,
Right,
or I'm not
right.
going to I'm not going to go to that college, or that person, I'm not going to date that person. It's nothing objective, like everything, you can check a box, but it's a gut feeling, and so that's where
Absolutely.
that
And
brain is.
there are studies that, were, they're talking about, globally, we're still in this, as a species, right, we're still in this place of war and fighting, and that country, this leader is wrong, or whatever. The U.S. right now, like, the two parties can't get along, and it could be, part of it could be that we are highly overdosing on sugar, and it's creating a lot of this anger and depression.
Really?
Yeah, absolutely. And
Gee,
it sounds
makes
kind of
perfect sense
crazy,
to
but
me.
it's definitely not.
Well,
If you stop eating that
It's
stuff,
never no one solution thing, but that's not helping
but
at
it's
all.
not helping. Yeah, I'm not saying it's the only thing,
No,
but I'm
right,
just
yeah.
saying it's absolutely a contributor.
I'm just asking for comparison though, because I mean, the earlier societies that didn't overdose on sugar, they were certainly rather warlike too. So I'm just questioning that a little bit. I mean, they were constantly fighting and going to war over, who was going to have, which lord was going to have this territory, and
Yeah.
so I'm just
Although they were
asking
less,
about that.
I think in some ways they were less sophisticated. It was kind of the only way to take over, if you
get
felt
what
like
you
you
get
needed,
fed.
or if you felt like you were being,
Invaded.
wronged or something. But now we're so sophisticated. It's so not.
It's not necessary.
War is just not necessary.
It's
We
not
can
necessary,
negotiate
yeah.
and we can do all these other things, but we're still attracted to it. We still find it sexy and.
We are.
Yeah, and I think that
We're attracted
our
to it.
country in particular right now is just, I think we can kind of tell by our political process, I might as well say it, it's in process right now, but, we're struggling. You can't even talk about it anymore. People get really worked up about it.
So
We never
exactly.
used to be that way. We used to be able to talk about
Yeah,
differences.
politics and differences of opinion, and it was okay to do it, and it was actually celebrated. This is a country where you can have your opinion, and we're free to express what we want to express, but we've kind of come to this place where we're not. So it's interesting to me as a nutritionist that, wow, I wonder how much that contributes, because we're also
100%.
obese, and we're ill, and we have a ton
We
of
don't-
chronic illness,
yeah.
which
We're not
I know is
sleeping
all
enough,
related
we're
to
not-
your gut. It's all related in there, and I know I've seen people transform when they go through my program, even just my 2-week cleanse, if nothing else, they go through that and they're experiencing this, wow, I feel calmer, my husband says I'm nicer, or my wife says I'm nicer, these are real things.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
From eating better, that's the only thing that they're
From eating
changing.
better,
So-
or just getting the sludge out of there.
Yeah,
just
getting the toxins out and-
making things work the way they were intended to work. And so that second brain is there. And so yeah, all this stuff that Dr. Brad is doing with connecting our behavior, our world, our emotions. Yeah, emotions is too small almost for me. It's
Yeah.
like how we interact with one another, the whole system of how we're operating together. So much of it can be alleviated. And I say this to my clients all the time too, is you are making it personal. When you say, my husband is such a jerk when he does X, Y, Z, or my wife is never satisfied, she wants more and more and more and more, making it personal when really there's so many things at play, like hormones.
A lot of variables.
Like brain
No.
differences, gender differences that we personalize, and people personalize to the point where they go, clearly you are such a jerk, I need to divorce you. There's so much repercussion from, if we could step back and look at energy medicine, if we could step back and look at brain function, if we could step back and look at hormones, if we could step back and look at gut health, we drill it down to being, Wendy's a jerk, Jeff's a jerk, whatever, I'm going to divorce them, versus, wait a minute, there are things that I could do to take care of myself or to take care of us that have nothing to do with our personalities or our choices, but our choices and our personalities are being significantly impacted by gut health, by emotion code, by all these things that we're just, and so that's, I think, the beauty of being alive and smart in 2016.
There you go.
Is because we have so much accessibility to things that are like opening up for us.
We do.
Opening up. I have so much hope for the future, and I know in this particular season that might not seem reasonable, but I do. I
It's
really
very
do.
reasonable, and it is a season to feel hopeful, I think.
Yeah.
I do.
We
And I
should.
think that, Dr. Nelson's work is really important, and I think it's, for me, it means there is a shift happening for humanity, and we're shifting back to things that we inside, deep down, we know is to be true, and we're giving it credibility again, and we're opening our minds up to it, and that's the only way that the world is going to change.
Yeah.
And I think young people are open to it, and so it's just really, really important work.
Oh, the gift.
Yeah.
He said. Go ahead, real quickly, because
Yeah.
we're almost out of time.
Yeah, so Dr. Bradley Nelson, we didn't get, I don't know if we said it in the first one, but please go to www.emotioncodegift.com.
Something like that, we'll look it up.
Emotioncode.com/gift.
Yeah, I
isn't it?
think that's what it is.
I
yeah.
thought it was emotioncodegift.com.
Oh,
but
you might be right. Yeah.
But we'll look it up, and it'll be in the notes. And either way, you get the book as a PDF and the MP3. Put it on your iPod, listen to it, put it in your car, read it, share it with everybody. He is ready, he is wanting for the world to know about this because it is accessible to everybody and it's going to take a lot of sting out of day-to-day life. So please, give it a go.
Yeah.
Emotioncodegift.com or emotioncode.com/gift.
Yeah.
But we'll figure it out.
Yeah, so I'm just going to say, imagine, let's bring this down to the granular aspect of it. Imagine if you were able to handle your own emotions. Imagine if you were able to help your children or your spouse handle their emotions. Imagine being able to go to work and not get triggered, or at least to know how to handle it when you are triggered, and recognize that you are connected to everybody that's around you. Even if there's no umbilical cord that you can see and touch, there's a connection. And I think that's kind of one of the big takeaways that we have for today.
Totally.
Great. Well, we are out of time, and we will be talking with Dr. Brad again really soon.
Yes.
So come back and check it out, and check out next week's episode too. We're excited to share the next show with you. Please leave us a rating and review on iTunes. If you don't have iTunes, download it onto your computer. That's the way to do it. And we will look forward to seeing you next time. And thank you so much for being here with the Mighty Married Moms.
Take care.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us for this episode of Mighty Married Moms. Tune in twice a week on Mondays and Thursdays to meet fascinating and inspiring guests who will help you create the life you've always wanted.
You can find these episodes and special gifts just for you at mightymarriedmoms.com, as well as a link to our Facebook community,
where we continue the conversation around the kitchen table. Please also help share the love by leaving a review on iTunes. We'll see you next time.